Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and I have the ever-present, always faithful and wonderful co-host with me, Mr. Paul Vato's in the building. Hey, Paul.
Howdy, AJ. Thank you for having me. This is wonderful. It's good to be back.
Well, you're like extended family to me. We love you, Jeff and I. And so we just want to thank you so much. But hey, Paul, we've got some wonderful breaking news tonight. We have Johanne Kesten in the building. And so let me give a introduction and then we'll greet her. Johanne Kesten is an actor, singer, and voice actor, and she's also a 529 Club Creative Ambassador on Clubhouse, created by Debra Wootton. Hey, Debra, we love you. And her new movie, Guilty Conscience, that's the photo right here on the second screen, is now on Prime Video or Tubi. So all you wonderful people, check it out. And let's give a super warm welcome to Johanne Kesten. Hey, Johanne, how are you?
Hey. Thank you for having me, and thank you for such a wonderful intro.
Oh my gosh, you're the best. And I love, finally I get to meet you. Finally, that beautiful voice on Clubhouse.
Faces.
I admire you and respect you so much. Actors are one of the hardest working professionals in the film and TV industry. And you just do us so proud and represent us so well, Johanna. So let's talk about your background. First, you've got this wonderful picture. What is that?
This is a garden in Copenhagen, just outside of the palace, right in downtown. That I was there. The last time I was there was probably 10 years ago. No, maybe, yeah, close to 10 years ago. But I took this picture in this lovely garden with all the flowers, and it's been with me on Zoom now for a couple of years, keeping me cheerful.
Wonderful. And what were you doing there?
We were there visiting. My grandfather was Danish. And so we have ties to the country, and I've been there a few times. I had been there with him and a couple of other times in my life, and it's just an awesome city. And we took this trip. We were taking my daughter, who was, I believe, in second grade at the time. My mother and I took her over to visit.
Oh, I love traveling. Traveling is like the best, isn't it?
It really is.
Yes. Paul, what do you say?
I love it. I can't wait to start traveling, and that's photos like that make it so inspirational, and the stories too. I love the fact that you have family ties there, because I think it just makes that traveling so much more special. I mean, it's nice to go anywhere, but when you have family ties, it's definitely something that's wonderful and special. So thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah, it really helps to have someone in the country that right, when we visit there. I always like that. And if it's family, that's even better. Even better. So Johanna, let's get to know you a little bit more, right, Paul? So let's talk about Guilty Conscience and Lowest Places, Lost Time. So let's take it away, Johanna, and tell us about Guilty Conscience, what you play in it. How did it come about?
So Guilty Conscience, actually, both of these projects came about through Clubhouse. Guilty Conscience, I met the director and writer Greg DaCosta on Clubhouse when he actually ran auditions through Clubhouse back in the day when we were all living on Clubhouse all the time. And once a week we'd get together and do some monologues. People would show up and do a monologue, and he did that for a couple of months, I think. And we'd talk about acting and stuff and just get to know each other. And then he cast me in this project, Guilty Conscience, that he'd written, as Dr. Celine, the therapist. And it was just a really, really fun piece to play with. And I don't want to say too much. I don't want to give away too much, but there's some really interesting themes that are covered: mental health, trauma, gun violence, some really cool stuff.
Very important stuff.
Cool stuff, but conversations that need to be had.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's now out on Amazon Prime and Tubi, so you can go watch it. Check it out.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's check that out. And also, I wanted to ask you, was it kind of fun playing a therapist? Did you enjoy that? Have you ever played that before, Johanna?
I have not, but I have been told more than once on one occasion that I should be a therapist. So I even was by a therapist at one point in my life. But it's interesting to look at, you know, I think as an actor, that's sort of our job anyway, is to understand the human condition and what drives people and how people get to where they are. And so I had an interesting perspective on that. And there's a little more to her as well that brought a different edge to it. But you got to watch the movie to find out.
Fascinating. And I love this. I love your picture on there. It's a really dramatic poster. And I would like to know where it was filmed, and then hand it over to Paul for any questions. Where did you guys film this?
This was filmed on one location in Long Island. Out in Long Island. Yeah. It was all done in one place. It was amazing
Awesome.
what he accomplished.
So congratulations on that. I'm proud of you all coming together, and of course through Clubhouse. That's a feat in itself. Paul, over to you.
No, that's amazing. I love the fact that, and it almost, you know, there's no excuse because, oh, I can't afford locations. I can't afford this. I can't do that. I mean, you know, we have iPhones that we can record on. I was just talking to somebody that's helping me out with my other podcast, Paul Vato Presents, and you know, he was just flabbergasted that I use my phone to record our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean, and you know, the quality is great, everything is great. I'm not saying that that's the equipment that they used on this film, but I think a lot of times we set up all these roadblocks to ourselves, and it's like, well, I don't have the locations, I can't film anything, and there's something to be said about a movie a project that can be shot all in one location. So I'm very excited to see it. And I'm sorry I haven't seen it yet, but now that I know about it, I definitely want to check it out. And I do appreciate the work that goes into being able to do a film all set, you know, in one location or very minimal location. So yeah, it can be done. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really, like I said, it was a very fun project to work on. I had a really good time working on this character.
And it's got some great social messages too for the world. And this is what's really needed now, especially in today's modern society, addressing those important issues to help people, because that's what film is really. I mean, I feel film is about, you know, communication and helping and healing and teaching. What do you think, Johanna?
Absolutely. You know, that's what we're doing. We're telling human stories, and the more we can put on our platform, put out in the world, not just on our platforms, but out in the world, stories that aren't getting told enough, stories that need more attention, stories that need to be heard more. I think the more we can, that's what we're here to do.
Yes. And is that also Lowest Places Lost Time? Tell us about that.
100%. Lowest Places Lost Time, as I said, is another project that came out of Clubhouse. This was actually, I met these ladies, the writers and the director, and most of, if not all of the actors, within my first 2 weeks on Clubhouse. I found a group called Table Reads. It was a Table Reads room, and we'd get together and read scripts. We'd pick a script off the internet, and we got together 6 times a week at the height of the pandemic. And we would pick a script, hand out parts, and just do it. We did screenplays, we did pilots, we did animation, we did whatever we felt like. And became very close. And these ladies, Bridget and Brianna, had this script that they had been working on together. They'd met in a class, I believe, on Zoom as well, because they live on opposite sides of the country, and started writing together. And this film is about women in trafficking situations and the effect that it has on them, and what it does to them, and how they fight through that. And it was we all flew to LA to make it happen. We got together, we shot 52 pages in, I think, 4.5 days. It was a whirlwind, and we screened it in October in Philadelphia.
Wow, phenomenal. Congratulations on that too. I love the poster. It's very dramatic. And this is such a powerful theme because these messages still need to be sent out into the world to, show how it is in the world. And I love it that there are women in it. It's a pretty much an all-female cast. Is that right, Johanna?
For the most part, there are a few males that make appearances, but not very many. And it was an all female production team as well. We had some men in the camera department, and we had our DP was a man, and we had another man helping us out, but mostly it was female driven.
Fabulous. Okay, so if you ever need a great actor, I just want to put a plug in for our favorite here, Paul Vato. He's a phenomenal actor. So if you ever do a third film, Johanna, please keep Paul in mind, because he's one of the best, and he's worked with Nicolas Cage. And okay, I'll stop. But I just adore Paul. So right, Paul?
Yeah, I feel bad for Nicolas Cage. We keep using him as a reference. I'm not sure.
Why?
I'm not sure if he's out there going like, and I work with Paul Vato.
Well, he'll send a cease and desist if he needs to.
Yeah, that's right. We'll put the ball in his court. No, thank you, AJ. That's so kind. Sometimes, I think we all sometimes suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome, and it's almost embarrassing to hear all those great but very true things that you said about me. But no, thank you. I see, I can't even take a compliment. So thank you. I appreciate that. It would be an honor and a pleasure to work with you, especially on projects like this. And I mean, it's so inspirational. I mean, you have to be able to do what you did, which is like fly yourselves out, or maybe they flew you out. I don't know, but it sounds like, it was on a lower budget. Yeah, and it's great to see that these projects got done. And especially coming out of Clubhouse, because I was there somewhat early as well. And you hear a lot of things, from a lot of people, and then nothing ever happens. And I'm sure I was part of that too, because you're excited. You're in the moment, like, yes, right, let's do this, let's do that. And then nothing materializes. So it's wonderful. I hate being negative, but it's wonderful to hear that these projects came out of social audio, because I love social audio, Clubhouse specifically. And then here's proof positive that it can be done. So thank you. Thanks for making that happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'll be sure to let the ladies know, hopefully, fingers crossed, if I can work it out logistically, I'm going to go back out to LA and do another project with them in October, at the beginning of October.
Oh, amazing. Well, I'm in Vegas/LA, so I'm right there. If there's, all I ask for is an audition. I can, I never asked to be given anything, but just the opportunity to audition. And where do you live? Or
I'm actually in Western Massachusetts.
Okay, right.
So I'm close enough to New York that I commute there quite a lot. And when I'm on the move, I'm down there at least once a week.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. And close enough to Boston where I can work there. I'm in a nice little corner here.
I've been meeting a lot of East Coast actors, because I'm on a platform called We Audition, which I think a lot of actors, so if you haven't heard of it, you should definitely be on it. Because I've only been on maybe 2 or 3 weeks now, and I've already read for a lot of people. And I think it's going to make me a much better reader, but also an actor, because I'll pick up a script that I've never even seen before. Granted, I'm reading it, but you're still acting, and I'm helping you audition as your scene partner. And I've just met so many people from the East Coast. I thought everybody was in New York, but no, there's, Western Massachusetts, there's people from Pennsylvania, from, all over the East Coast, that when they get hired, they can go right to New York, just like I can go to LA. So it's great to hear. And again, I not to plug We Audition too much, but it's been a wonderful experience, and you can make money to help people read for their parts. And I was like, who's going to pay me? But yeah, it's been a great 2 or 3 weeks. So it's wonderful.
That is awesome.
Absolutely. I know of We Audition, and it's something that's on my radar for sure. And, I think it's an awesome conversation to have, this thing that happened when self-taping became a thing, and when everything moved online, and suddenly it was like the democratization of the industry, because so many people who couldn't get there the day, when they put an audition notice up 2 hours before, are able to submit, and is bringing, I think, so many more faces and so many more voices to the industry. I think it's amazing.
I mean, it's getting to the point where I may have to physically be in LA, but I don't think so. Not anymore. With being able to remotely audition for that first round. And to be honest, I've had a callback, and even the callback was via Zoom. Maybe those things will change, but if you're, for a callback, of course I'll go to LA. And that's what one of my agents said. They're like, no, you're fine. Stay in Vegas as long as you can. We'll let you know when you physically need to be in LA. They're like, but I don't think this is changing. So, a few good things did come out of this pandemic. And now, well, like with this writer strike, just shows you that, we have to keep creating without crossing lines, but, continue to create. But if it wasn't for remote auditioning, I don't think I'd be back into the world of acting, because I was kind of stuck in Vegas. I can't be to your audition, in 4 hours, but I can sure submit it anytime. I'm right here. And We Audition has been a big part of that. If you don't mind, I'll send you a link. I don't have a referral link or anything, but I think I do have one for a discount code. And I'd be more than happy to share it with you, because, and that was the other thing too. I was like, I'm not going to pay $10 a month, because I already have friends that help me audition and I help them. And it's kind of a swap, but realizing that not everyone has that, and they're willing to pay. And it's not a lot, $5 for 15 minutes, or, you set your own rates. I was just flabbergasted that people started calling me right away, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I should have been on this for past 3 years, or
what have we been doing?
What have I been doing? It's like such a waste of not being able to help people, most importantly, two, becoming a much better reader, and I think actor as well, and then sure, making a little bit of money, it doesn't hurt anyone. So
yeah, absolutely.
Better late than never. Yeah.
It's so true. I love that. Well, I want to also let you know that Paul, Johanne has done improv, and she is a fourth generation entertainer. So she's also the founder of the Actors Book Club on Clubhouse, like she mentioned on Clubhouse. She trained at HB Studio, Edge Studio, and is a member of EMC. And she's done a lot of work in the theater. So we have a real theater gal here, and it's such an honor, Johanne. So we know you've got good genes, and we know you love to do languages, like you're adept in British. Maybe we can hear a little bit of that, or some French or German.
The accents, yeah.
But let's talk. Maybe you could tell us in one of your accents, what are these great photos? This is your mom, right?
Yes, well, so this is my mother. Yeah, this is the accent of this character you see on the left there, Dr. Death. Yeah, Dr. Angela Death. Yeah, she was a dentist. And maybe a little bit of a screw loose in there, but she really loves the drilling and the pain and all of these things. This was so we did these murder mysteries on Zoom. These were during the first year of the pandemic. We did thank you. Yes, that was Dr. Death. She was a lot of fun to play with, let me tell you. We did a friend of mine called me up. She had been doing these murder mysteries. We'd go to colleges and do them live for students, for social events at these schools. And when everything shut down, she said, why don't we figure out how to do this online? And we did. And we did, I think, nearly 200 performances for different schools all over the country. We even did one for the RAF. I don't know how that happened, but it was pretty cool. We had about 6 different storylines, and everybody had a dossier for their characters. And by the time we were halfway through, we started switching characters, and we'd say, okay, tonight you're going to do this one and you try that one. But what was so much fun about it was that I got to play with my mother, who was also an actress and a very skilled comedian. And we come from comedy. My grandfather was Victor Borga, the pianist.
What?
Wow! Oh my God!
I mean, an icon. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's in the genes. But
yeah, something there.
you need to study as well. So congratulations for not just going like, yeah, that's you said that was your grandfather?
Yeah.
That was your mom's father, or your
my mother's father. Yeah. And my mother was an actress, and my father was a line producer and did a lot as well in his own right. So I grew up in it, but yeah, so we had never so by the time I started really acting, she was done with it. And then I stopped for a while, and now we came back together with it during the pandemic, and it was so much fun to get to play all these characters with her. We were the only ones who got to be in the same room too, which was cool and fun, so we could really play with each other. And we did these live events, and that's what got us through the first year of the pandemic.
Wonderful. What is the second picture?
So the second picture, I'm trying to remember all of the characters' names. I'm playing Angela, and she's playing my mother. This was the Italian family, the Italian restaurant murder mystery. The first one was the like Halloween themed murder mystery, and she was playing the Jewish cannibal, the kosher cannibal.
I love that. Being part Italian, I love the wooden spoon. I have my own teak wooden spoons. They're very important to me for the sauce and the I'm sorry, gravy. Excuse me, gravy.
Yeah.
But so much fun, Johanna. So authentic. And look at so many different. Look at these. I just want to switch this up again. Check this out, Paul. Totally two more different looks. You have you have an incredible treasure chest of looks, Johanna, and characters. Take it away.
Excuse me. Yeah. So this on the left, she took over Dr. Death that night, actually, and we didn't have a character for me, so I made one up, and I was, oh God, it was an Igor type character, right? I was her.
So much fun. So much fun.
And she had a lot of fun with mustaches during that time. She bought like a big pack of 200 mustaches, and would change them during the show, and would just, this was a French character, obviously, with the beret that she was playing. And I think that's Angela again, a later version of Angela, when we were really getting into it.
Absolutely love it. And, such different looks, and you've got a real variety. You've got a great look anyway. Johanna, as an actress, I just want to show these as well to our audience, because your beauty is, look at those curls. I love them, but you have so many different looks, and your natural beauty as well. So that's what these show. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the acting community, because you bring that integrity, that DNA that Paul mentioned, for us to enjoy. So you really are a wonderful actress, Johanna. So gifted, so talented.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And we want to thank your mom and your family too, right, Paul?
Of course, yeah. That's royalty. I mean, I don't know if Hollywood royalty or comedy royalty, but yeah, of course. So talented.
Yes. So you also do a British accent. Is that right, Johanna?
Well, yes, I do. And I've been told by a few Brits that it's not terrible. I've gotten almost a seal of approval, if you can say.
I think that's probably the kindest words that maybe a British person might be able to tell you, or maybe we don't know.
Disagree. I don't disagree, Paul.
It's not terrible. But you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You didn't say you'll never say it was great.
Wow.
So. It's absolutely lovely. That's all I've got to say. It's absolutely lovely. Coming from a Brit, you've got it. You nailed it. So, Johanna, you are part of the family, right, Paul?
100%. And so you guys must have been going crazy over the recent coronation of King Charles. I'm sure your British accents came out.
Oh, yes. Well, they always love to make an appearance anytime.
Of course.
Yes.
I'm blessed. I'm from Chicago, where we don't got an accent. So there you go. Yeah.
Well, usually, I'm from, I grew up in New York. So it's, that's a whole nother no accent situation that we got going on around here. There's no, let me tell you, there ain't no accent.
There ain't no accent.
Everybody else has got an accent. I ain't got no accent.
We ain't got one.
Nah.
This is an incredible audition tape. Feel free to use it. You're doing stellar performances. Bravo to both of you. I do want to mention another thing. Your regional credits for theater, they're very impressive. Paul, wanted to share wanted to share this with you. Terry Thompson in Babes in Arms at the Berkshire Theatre Festival, and De la Grande Boucher, Beauty and the Beast at the Sharon Playhouse. Did I pronounce that correctly, Johanna?
Madame de la Grande Bouche,
Madame de la Grande Bouche.
who, if you're not familiar, is the big dresser. I was the wardrobe in a summer stock theater. It's a place I've worked years and years. I did my first show there probably 15 years ago. And I've done shows there many times over the years, but this was 2019 before they installed the air conditioning on the stage. And it's summer stock in a barn. And it was like 90 degrees, and we're in there in these big, I'm in there in the dresser, and the guy who's playing Cogsworth is in his big clock, and the guy who's playing, and these are all Lumiere had all these layers and the hands and the things, and it was incredible. It was an amazing show. Production value through the roof, and it was a lot of fun, but it was hot.
I have a question for you. I'm amazed at that, because that's such an interesting story behind the scenes of what goes on in the costume and props. Johanna, did you, under your skirt, Johanna, this is a joke, under your skirt, did you hide a sandwich or your lunch?
No lunch, but there were definitely some ice packs.
Oh my gosh. So when you took it off, did you feel like 15 pounds lighter or
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been so that's like
there were fans, there was stuff, there was, like if you lift it up and down, you could get a little breeze going through there.
Oh my gosh, what fun. Well, that's working with a budget, like you said, that is really good, right? A very lavish budget, so that they have all of that.
Well, I think they do what they can for sure. And they do, like I said, I've worked at this theater many years. I'm actually there this summer. I'm going to be doing a production of Oliver. So that's going to be fun. And I'm currently helping them stage manage the children's productions that they put on. So we're doing a 1st through 4th grade production of The Little Mermaid right now. And then there'll be an older kids production of Newsies at the end of the summer, and some Littles in the middle of the summer. So that'll be fun.
Wonderful. So how can people see you? How can they support you, and how can they follow you, Johanna?
So you can follow me on Instagram, Johanne Kesten. You can check out Guilty Conscience, obviously, as we said before, on Amazon Prime or Tubi. And as I said, I'll be at the Sharon Playhouse in Sharon, doing a production of Oliver in Connecticut this summer. So if you're in Northwest Connecticut, come check it out. That'll be in August. I don't know our exact opening date, but I know it's the beginning of August. And that's going to be a phenomenal production. I know we've got a great cast. They pulled from both New York and local people, and it's going to be a really good time for sure.
I love hearing all about this, Johanna, because you are true theater.
Well,
you're true theater, right, Paul? Oh, Paul, you're on mute.
How did I go on mute? Yes, 100%. I love that. I mean, I wish I would have had more of a proper theater background. My background is improv, and that's as far as that goes. But I was busy owning a business, and then when I got into improv, so it was kind of later in life for me. So it's always inspirational and motivational to meet people that actually kind of grew up in the theater and really find that passion for it, and are willing to do summer stock with no air conditioning. So that's amazing.
Well, yeah, I've always, there's something special about it in those smaller spaces, and it's so energized. And I'm also a single parent, so I can't necessarily go down to New York and disappear for 3 months. So it gives me an opportunity to work. I've had so many great opportunities over there, and to be doing the thing that I love. Another couple of great opportunities. We do the actors workshops with 5 to 9 on Clubhouse every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I've got the Actors Book Club. If you're an actor and you want to read books about the craft and stuff like that, we are moving to Mondays now, I believe. We've had some scheduling stuff because I take a job and then I can't, so we're trying to figure that out. And also SIFCA this year. 5 to 9 Clubs Creative Festival in Cyrenaios, in just outside of Athens.
Yes,
is going
let's
to
talk
be,
about that. That's going to be in September, right? Deborah
yeah,
Wootton.
the second half of September.
And this is in
I
Greece.
believe the 15th through the 30th,
Oh
the
my
29th
God.
or the 30th.
Oh,
Um,
wouldn't it be a dream, Paul, to go? Tell us about it.
so SIFCA is a festival. It's a creative arts festival. Really, it's a festival celebrating all of the different aspects that and departments that come together to make a film. So last year we had Terry Ackland Snow, the art director from Labyrinth and so many of the Bond films, and he's just done so many incredible things. He came and did a talk for us. We had a makeup artist from the Ivor Academy at Pinewood Studios in London came over and did some tutorials with us, and we did a performance of Midsummer Night's Dream. All the actors got together and did that, and an adaptation in an amphitheater on the sea. So we were in rehearsals all day on the 40 feet off the sea, swimming on our breaks in the sunshine. It was terrible.
It sounds like paradise.
It really was. We had Darian Danju there doing his 1 minute film school. We had Ching Jewel there doing smartphone filmmaking. And I know Debra has already got a whole host of great people. I know there's some animation people that are coming for this year. There's just all kinds of different art people and different aspects of, like I said, of the industry coming to get to do talks, some from Clubhouse, some from Pinewood. We're going to be doing a cabaret this year, or a showcase type situation with the actors. So we're going to try something a little different and see what happens. And it should be a really, really phenomenal time.
I would love to attend and be a part of that. I heard so much wonderful things about it last year, and I know you were an integral part. And Deborah Wootton, so fabulous. And if anyone's interested, please follow 529 on Facebook or the 529 Club on Clubhouse, like Johanna said, or 529. Is there an Instagram? Do they have an Instagram too, Johanna? I'm not sure.
I don't know that there's an Instagram. There was, and then something weird happened, and I haven't been able to. I don't think
Okay.
I think it might be a little not active at the moment.
Okay, so Facebook is good,
Yeah.
Greenlight, and on Clubhouse. So check that out if you're interested. We'd love to have you a part of that. Paul, over to you.
No, I love it. I can't say enough great things about 529, and I love the history there, especially with Pinewood Studios and this club going back so far. I mean, obviously these are things that I've heard from Debra Wootton, and it's I forget sometimes that she lives in Greece, so it's fantastic. I'm gonna try to AJ. We have to do whatever we can to get out there. We could do film talk with AJ Dean from abroad, because there are so many things going on. I know in the UK there's a RSK festival, which stands for Ricky, Steve, and Carl, which is Rick Gervais, Steve Merchant, and Carl Pilkington, that kind of celebrates their work, which I believe is again in September. So I'd like to get out there for that. There's a friend doing a tour in Barcelona, and they're trying to decide whether to do it in September or October. So I'm like, all right, maybe we'll have to be gone for a couple months and do everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just sounds lovely and wonderful to be around so many creative people. And then to be in Greece, like, Tekanyas, hello, how are you? Let's do it.
It was, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
I'll
And
bet.
the area is it's known as the Greek Riviera. So you're right on the water, and it's all kind of cleared out. People sort of, all the vacationing ends right at the beginning of September, but everything stays open till the end of September. So we kind of had the place to ourselves, which was amazing.
Amazing.
There was a concert in the square, and there was another night where we did like Greek traditional dancing. We learned Greek traditional dancing there in the square, and it was a big party, and it was just and as you said, to be, especially after all of us having been so isolated during the pandemic, and we had just kind of come out of that and started to explore the world again. And then we all came together and converged and had this amazing time of being creative and hanging out and spending time and being in the room with creative people, which I think we were all kind of starving for at that time.
Was this with SIFCA, you said? Now, was this something that had already been going on, or was it just something where was it number one last year, and then this is number
this
two?
year will be number two. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
amazing. Okay.
yeah, Debra put this thing together. This
Oh,
is her baby.
wow. Okay.
And it's basically it's
Brilliant.
Hollywood in Greece, isn't
Right.
it, Johanna?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Amazing.
yes,
Amazing.
Paul. Yes, we should go, Paul. So
Okay.
let's start packing now, Paul. Get your suitcase out, Paul. So
I'm in my swim trunks already, so
There you
we're
go.
halfway there.
Perfect. What more do you need?
One more. Yeah, you're mentioning all this going for swims during your breaks. My goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah.
In paradise.
oh,
Oh, and the food.
Mamma
Oh my
mia.
God, the food.
oh, Mamma Mia, great one, Paul.
Thank you.
Awesome. And you said the food, Johanna?
Oh, the food was incredible. And just, I mean, we went out the first night we were there. I don't know if you both know Heidi from Clubhouse. She was there. She and I were rooming together. And then a friend, Naja, had come also. So it was not Heidi and Naja and I and Debra and her husband James. We all went out to dinner and we got this big meal and we all had different things to try and this and that and wine, and dessert and this. And it was like 15 euros each. And we were all falling down because we had just had this amazing, lavish, like, foodie meal. It wasn't, and it was amazing. And that was what it was the whole time we were there. And, Greek salad for lunch and some seafood for dinner. And, oh, we're going to go to the spectacular meat place for dinner, whatever. I was
Amazing.
in heaven. Again.
Amazing. Sounds so incredible. And I'm salivating after listening. My mouth is watering because with all of that Greek salad and oh my gosh, it's so good. And you know me, I'm a foodie. I love food. I know Paul, you're a foodie. Are you a foodie too, Johanna?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 20 years in restaurants. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
work in restaurants.
Amazing.
Really?
I was also a whole animal butcher for a couple of years. Fun fact. So that was exciting
Oh my gosh. Oh
and
my gosh.
cool. But
Incredible, incredible. So I'm so sorry to say this, but the time is kind of caught up with us. We're gonna have to start wrapping it up, but we want to do our heart messages before we go. And Johanna, I just want to say thank you so much. You've been an absolute delight, hasn't she, Paul?
100%. So inspirational, motivational, and just a great interview. Thank you for being here, Johanna.
it was 100% my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. AJ, thank you so much for inviting me. I was so excited for this. It's been, creeping up on me here and there, like, oh my God, it's almost here. And to get to see your face and to get to, it's always so exciting and cool when when I meet people from Clubhouse on Zoom or in person. Like there's a whole person there, and there's a whole person on the other end of the voice, but it's different. It's special, and I'm really, really grateful to have been here tonight.
Is it weird for you to just have a normal conversation and not have to go and I'm landing my plane or and I'm done talking or for folks that don't know, that's how we normally end our side of the conversation on Clubhouse, and I'm dropping the mic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so true. Go ahead, Johanna. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, and not, when I was first, everything that had a mute button, I would use it to clap. And even on the phone, I'm on the phone on speaker with somebody, and I'm like, what am I doing? That's not. You don't know. I did it
I
on
hung up on a
Zoom.
few people on
Yeah.
accident because I was holding my phone and it was a regular phone call, and I'd not been used to being on a regular phone call in ages. And I go, yes, or I can't remember if I was clapping or I went to unmute and I hit hang up, and I go, ugh. I go, how do I explain it? Like, I'm an idiot. I just hung up on this person. So I called him back. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, the connection.
What happened?
That was
He
wild.
Oh, the phone just died. I'm like, oh, that's horrible. Anyways, like, well, you were saying, and I was very emotional. I was about to clap for you, but since I'm on a regular phone, I hung up on you instead. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, it's real. The struggle is real, man.
Struggle's
Returning
real.
to life from real life, from Clubhouse life, man. I don't know. I almost might rather stay there.
Good times.
That's too
Absolutely.
fun. So much fun.
Sorry,
Well,
AJ, go on.
yeah, no worries. I did want to say, I'll start with my heart message for this week. And my heart message for this week is treat every day like it is your last. Time is so precious and our lives are so fleeting sometimes. So treat each day and value each day and go ahead and take that risk and say yes if it's safe and it's something that you want to do. So that's my dream and goal for everybody. And I hope they receive that well. Paul, over to you for your heart message.
Well, that's such a lovely heart message. For me, what I got like from today's show is just that in Spanish, si se puede. Yes, it can. It can be done. And it's great that we have these wonderful people that we can rely on. So treasure your friends, value your friendships, and coworkers, because together we can make this happen. Si se puede. It's Cinco de Mayo. I guess it's somewhat appropriate. I'm just trying to tie it in, and it's not working. But yeah, it's get your projects done, and yeah.
I love that. And I love Cinco de Mayo. And we want to say to our Latina family worldwide, we love you. Isn't that right, Paul? And kisses and hugs to everybody. And because our Latina family is important to them. And they bring so much to our world. So thank you, Paul, for being a part of that as well.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And over to you, Johanna, for your heart message for the world. It can be a shout out. It can be anything you want to say. Take it away.
Well, I'm going to say, keep creating, create something and do things that, as you were saying, do things that you love. Go out and do one thing that you love this week. Make sure that you are taking the time to make time, not taking the time, making the time to do the things that fuel you and that will fill you up to be able to get through to the next time you get to do that.
Absolutely beautiful. Bravo and brilliantly said, Johanna. And again, you are, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little verklempt and choked up. You are a treasure to us, Johanna. There, I got it out finally. And so until next time, and au revoir for now. Bye-bye.
Bye, all.